Paramore, they came back for the first time in I think 5 or 6 years. They sold out everywhere. And it got to the point where they were like, well, we're going to play LA and add some more shows to the end of their tour. And they're like, we're tired of all these scalpers buying all these tickets. I got robbed a ticket because I was trying to buy one for my girlfriend, and they were going to go for $50. And then, like that, they're sold out. And now they're $300. And there's like 300 or 400 of them.
Yeah.
Fuck you, scalpers. Anybody who has those tickets and that's selling for that, like, go fuck yourself, seriously. Paramore is making... The only way they're going to be able to get to the show is if you buy this special pass that you can only get from Ticketmaster. You can't get from a reseller, from a scalper.
Right.
So it's hindering scalpers from existing, basically.
I'm curious, does it allow the artist to kind of like double dip, though?
I can see how that's a thing.
I'm not even mad about that.
No, without a doubt, you could definitely do that. But then you're a dickhead. Like, here's the question: where does that money go?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Ticketmaster.
Well,
I guarantee you, at least 80% goes to Ticketmaster.
100%.
I'm sure they're taking their cut of it, but they also came up with
Ticketmaster sucks. What are you talking about, man?
Stop. There's a whole thing we can go into if you want.
Sure.
But I think Ticketmaster definitely takes their cut. I'm sure they split something with the artists as well. But if they're creating like if they're giving it the platform or creating the atmosphere where that kind of dichotomy can exist, where scalpers can't charge extra, then why shouldn't they?
No, yeah, I'm totally on the side with this.
People are reselling through the platform.
But people are getting a little bit mad because they've already bought the tickets through Ticketmaster at one price, and now Paramore is adding on that little special thing, so they have to pay for more of it. They should get rid of that.
Yeah.
You should be able to somehow, I don't know. They're not NFTs, tickets aren't, but now that I thought about it, they probably could be.
What is the thing that they're kind of adding on?
It's some sort of way to tell whether or not you bought this from Ticketmaster or if you bought this off of a scalper. And if you bought it off of a scalper, they're not letting you in unless you have that extra little thing that you purchased. I'm not sure how much it was.
Yeah, they don't say how much it is
but
on here.
Well, what if you buy normal resale from like anybody? Like, what if I bought a ticket? I was like, hey, you want a ticket?
The transaction has to be done through Ticketmaster. So there's a bunch of information attached to the ticket, and then you'll go into ticket. I had to do this recently with a show where a friend of mine bought tickets. My girlfriend works at the UNF, at the Florida Theater here, and she was offered free tickets to a show. But in order for her to get the tickets, she had to go in to Ticketmaster and change all of the information on the ticket. And then there had to be like a proof of purchase, even though she didn't have to purchase them. There's still a proof of purchase from the original purchaser. So that way you could at least like show that you purchased it from the purchaser and your name is attached to it through Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
The more that I think about it, though, it seems like it's just like an extra step that it doesn't matter.
It does, because you can't sell it more from what than what the designated resale value is.
Why not, though?
Because
what if you buy it and you get that proof of purchase from Ticketmaster and then you just sell it for $300? Like I don't understand the whole article in itself, how it's supposed to stop anything. Unless that proof of purchase is like $1,000 or something that you get back at the end or something. I don't know.
That's why it needs to move toward NFTs.
Yeah,
like you mentioned, because if each attendee of an event has to just build, let's say Ticketmaster does it, which I hope they don't. I hope someone just completely beats them out to this. But I'm sure they're working on it. Let's say each person has to create an individual wallet. When they get a ticket, they get an NFT, so it's in the blockchain and it's only in your wallet. And like you would have to transfer it to someone else's wallet. So then you have like security there. And then also, similar to some things we discussed, let's say I go to Halloween. Let's say they do a Halloween one. Who's to say that NFT won't rise in price?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
After the event, you're gonna be like, hey, I have the 2023 NFT Halloween ticket for like, I got it for $200, and it still keeps that value because someone in the future might want to say like, here's my. It's like if someone had a Woodstock NFT ticket, they would want to, they're worth money. So
yeah, I think it's definitely moving in that direction. It's already kind of functioning in the same capacity right now, where the ticket has all this information attached to it that's unique to it alone.
It has to come down to this. Either you get a refund from the ticket and then they sell it to another person, or like you have to be in person to buy it. Like that's it, and you can only buy one at a time.
Yeah.
Because imagine if they did this. I was just thinking about this right now. What if like some crazy evil millionaire or whatever like that, probably billionaire at this point, because millionaires don't get shit done. But I was gonna say buys like all of the plane tickets in America for Thanksgiving weekend. Like just has that kind of, walking around money, and then it's like it's double now.
Well, I think
like that's insane. You can't do that because it's in your name and you have to show your stuff. You can't sell an airplane ticket.
Right, but I think that Ticketmaster and the artists are working together to kind of limit what the resale value is of those tickets.
But it's in such bad business for Ticketmaster to do that.
Why?
Because why does it matter to them? They want them to sell out as soon as possible.
Don't they own StubHub?
Yeah,
so they're already doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't care at all. StubHub.
Ticketmaster could be the scalper at this point. You have no idea.
I think it's kind of.
I bet they are.
I think it's kind of in. Yeah, I mean, kind of.
The devil,
I think it's
dude.
inconsequential to them. I think that the artist is like, well, why are our fans having to pay triple the amount to come and see us play?
Exactly.
So the artist is like, hey, Ticketmaster, can you strike a deal here? And Ticketmaster's like, yeah, it makes no difference to us. If someone buys a ticket and scalps it for $300, we see none of that profit. Why not just mitigate that and just say, hey, we're going to go ahead and do it through our system. So if you want to resell it, you have to literally do it through our system, and you can't resell it for any more than this amount. And Ticketmaster's like, and we can make an extra cut off of that, and the artist makes more money off of it. It's a win-win for everybody. I don't see why it's a problem.
No, it's a win for Ticketmaster
and for the artist.
And then somehow it will be a lose for the artist.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because
at the end of the day, they've been doing this. They've been running ticket sales, and they've allowed scalpers to persist. Tipper does a similar thing working with Ticketmaster, like Tipper's team, where you as a fan sign up for a fan email.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you get a code that you have to have, per person you get one code. And that code can only gain you entry to get 2 tickets.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's there are ways to do it.
They do that with a lot of Spotify artists. That's how I got my Thundercat ticket so early and everything like that before it sold out.
They're just trying to make it so you have to pay extra to them for security, which they should already be offered. And
because it sounds like it was definitely an artist initiative, though. I'm sure Ticketmaster didn't care either way. But the artist approached them and was like, hey, let's strike a deal to help our fans out. And Ticketmaster's like, yeah, as long as we can still make money on the back end. Because otherwise, we're cutting into our
what happened.
Okay, but it's still a win. I actually see it as, we can all agree, disagree here, but I see it as a win-win for everybody.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah, the artist does win, and then Ticketmaster does win.
And then we win, too, because we don't have to pay triple the amount to go see our artist.
But
Michael Scott, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would just argue that we should already be granted that security somehow through their system. And they have proven time and time again that they don't actually care about that by being the owner of StubHub. And I could be wrong. Sorry, Ticketmaster, if I'm wrong. But if I'm right that they own StubHub, they've allowed this to persist. They have no limiting, they have no limiting. And I told someone about 2 weeks ago that my biggest nightmare is the day when Disney buys out Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
And then they own every single form of entertainment in the world.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, at some point.
And then you just have your magic band and your fingerprint to go see a show. You have to go tap in and thumbprint in to get into the show. I'm praying that Disney, no Disney exec listens to your podcast, because
they're always
this is a nightmare.
Bro,
I know.
If you think this conversation is not already happening, then you know what I mean. The thing is that Live Nation has already, who owns Ticketmaster, and then Ticketmaster subsequently owns StubHub and all that. Live Nation is already buying out venues. Right, so that they can.
They own every.
They own all the venues that you want to play at in every major city.
Yep.
They own them, so they're keeping it all in house. If you think that they're not thinking about the next step, if you just brought it up right now, they've been talking about it for probably a couple of years already. It's probably been on the table for a while.
Yeah, definitely the chip in your skin situation. Yeah, they've been talking about that since dawn of time. Fucking pissed that I don't get to see Paramore, and the tickets were like $40 at St. Augustine.
Yeah,
so cool. Now they're $300 a pop.
So we should do a bottom line news.
Bottom line news. Start talking, you asshole.